The ring slipped onto her finger like it had been waiting. Dr. James Harrington's gray eyes widened, his hand frozen mid-reach across the museum desk. For 3 seconds, neither of them breathed. Then he spoke, voice rough. "Don't move." 6 hours earlier, Leah Morris was 27, perpetually exhausted, and currently being fired in front of 17 museum donors at the annual gala preview. "This is unacceptable." Director Patricia Wells held up the fractured Roman coin, her stage whisper carrying across the marble hall. "This artifact was in perfect condition yesterday." Leah's stomach dropped. "I documented existing damage in my condition report. Your report is clearly falsified." Patricia's smile was surgical. "We can't have archivists who compromise our collection's integrity. Security will escort you out." The donors watched, champagne flutes paused, diamonds glittering under chandeliers, judgment unanimous. Leah stood in her Target dress among their designer gowns, public humiliation complete. "I didn't falsify anything. Your employment is terminated effective immediately. Leave your badge." Leah unclipped the ID she'd worn for 4 years, hands shaking. The coin hadn't been her fault. The damage was documented, photographed, time-stamped. But Patricia needed a scapegoat for the board, and adjunct archivists were expendable. She walked through the gallery, past Roman sculptures and Greek vases she'd cataloged with painstaking care, past the case holding the museum's newest acquisition, the Harrington collection, donated by tech billionaire James Harrington, whose face watched from a bronze plaque. Strong jaw, dark hair, eyes that looked disappointed even in metal relief. His family's collection, her fired career. Leah exited into October rain, no umbrella, no plan. 4 years of archival work, gone. Her studio apartment cost $1,600 monthly. Her bank account held maybe $900. Student loans took $340 monthly. Her mother's assisted living bills, early onset Alzheimer's, age 53, took everything else. She'd made choices: prestigious museum job with poverty wages over corporate archives with decent pay, passion over survival. Now she had neither. The subway wasn't running, track maintenance, the sign said. Leah walked 40 blocks home through the downpour, saving the $2.75 fare. Her apartment was dark, cold. November rent was due in 4 days. She had precisely 1 can of soup and half a loaf of bread. No job, no references. Patricia would poison any recommendation. No options except retail work that wouldn't cover rent and mom's care. Leah sat on her bathroom floor, still wet, and cried until her ribs ached. At midnight, she gave up on sleep and did what she always did when the world felt impossible. She walked. The park was empty, street lamps casting orange pools across wet pavement. Leah's route took her past the museum, closed now, its white columns ghostly. She shouldn't torture herself, but momentum carried her to the side entrance where staff parked bikes. Something glinted near the rack. She stopped, crouched. A ring lay in the gutter, gold band catching street light, clearly expensive, clearly lost. Leah picked it up, and her breath caught. The band was warm, heavy, engraved with Latin she recognized from archival work: Fidelis ad finum, faithful to the end. The setting held a square sapphire, deep blue, surrounded by tiny diamonds. Estate jewelry, maybe 1920s. Worth thousands easily. She should leave it. Should walk away. But 4 years of archival training wouldn't let her abandon something beautiful to the gutter. Leah pocketed the ring and went home. Morning came with 3 realities: no job, no money, 1 magnificent ring that wasn't hers. She called the museum's lost and found, got voicemail, left details. Called the police non-emergency line. They took a report, but said jewelry rarely got claimed without specific documentation. You can surrender it here, or wait to see if anyone reports it missing, the officer said, bored. Leah hung up and researched the engraving. Fidelis ad finum appeared in Roman military contexts, loyalty unto death. The ring style matched Art Deco revival, custom work. Expensive enough that someone was searching desperately. She posted on neighborhood forums, museum community boards, added photos to lost and found sites. No identifying details. She wasn't stupid. Just, found ring near Museum of Classical Art, Latin engraving, contact with description. 3 days passed. Rent came due. Leah paid it, emptying her account to $74. She had job interviews at 2 retail chains and a coffee shop, survival work. Not career, but she needed income now. On day 4, her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. This is Catherine Mills calling on behalf of James Harrington. We understand you found a ring near the Museum of Classical Art. The woman's voice was professionally warm. Mr. Harrington would like to meet you to verify and retrieve it. Are you available today at 2 p.m.? Leah's heart stopped. James Harrington? The donor, yes. The ring is a family heirloom. He's been searching for it for 8 years. 8 years. It's complicated. Can you meet him at the museum's administrative offices? Leah agreed, dazed. At 1:50 p.m., she stood outside the museum she'd been fired from 4 days ago, holding a ring worth more than her yearly salary, about to meet a billionaire she'd only seen in photographs. The security guard, Marcus, who'd escorted her out, looked uncomfortable. Ms. Morris, you're expected. 3rd floor. She rode the elevator up, heart hammering. The administrative wing was elegant, hushed. Catherine Mills met her, 50s, pearls, kind eyes. Thank you for coming. Mr. Harrington is very grateful. She led Leah to a conference room. He'll be right in. Leah waited, the ring in her jacket pocket, questions multiplying. The door opened. James Harrington entered, taller than his photos suggested, dark suit, gray eyes that locked onto her face with unsettling focus. Younger than she'd expected, maybe 35. Handsome in that classical way that came from good genetics and better resources. Ms. Morris. His voice was deep, controlled. Thank you for contacting us. Of course. I'm glad it found you. Leah pulled out the ring, extended it. James didn't take it. May I see it on your hand first? What? Please. Just humor me. Confused, Leah slipped the ring onto her right hand. It fit perfectly. James Harrington's face transformed. Shock, recognition, something almost like grief. Don't move, he said quietly. Then, that ring was made for you. Leah stared at him. That's impossible. I found this 4 days ago, and I lost it 8 years ago. James sat across from her, eyes never leaving the ring on her finger. At this museum, the night my mother died. The room tilted slightly. I'm sorry. She donated our family's collection with one condition, that her engagement ring go to the woman it was meant for. His voice was steady but strained. It was custom made in 1924 for my great-grandmother. There's a legend in my family. The ring only fits the woman who's supposed to wear it. Sounds like superstition, except it's true. My mother tried it on at 23 and it slipped on perfectly. She wore it for 30 years. When she was dying, she made me promise to find the woman it would fit. Leah looked at the ring, now feeling heavy on her hand. That's not how ring sizes work, I know. But humor me again. Pull it off. She tugged. The ring caught at her knuckle, stuck. James leaned forward. It does that. Won't come off easily once it's on. My mother said the ring knows. He laughed, the sound almost broken. I spent 8 years searching. Had women try it at charity events, galas, museum openings. Hundreds of women. It never fit. Then the night Mom died, I was here making final donation arrangements, and I took it off to sign papers. Put it down for 1 second. When I turned back, it was gone. Someone stole it. Maybe. Or I knocked it off the desk. I searched for hours. Hired investigators, offered rewards. Nothing. His gray eyes met hers. Until you called. Leah's mind raced. This is insane. It's just a ring. Physics and sizing. Try it on your other fingers. She did. Ring finger, index, pinky. The band was too large everywhere except her right ring finger, where it sat perfectly. Okay, that's unusual, Leah admitted. But coincidence. What's her name? Full name. Leah and Morris. James pulled out his phone, typed, showed her a photograph. A woman in 1920s dress, dark hair, warm brown eyes, standing before a museum exhibition. The resemblance to Leah was startling. Same oval face, same smile, same slight frame. My great-grandmother, Leah Catherine Harrington, née Morris. The ring was made for her. He set the phone down carefully. You share her name. You work in archival preservation, and the ring fits you like it fit her. Leah's hands started shaking. This is coincidence. Genetic probability, maybe. James stood, walked to the window overlooking the museum gardens. Or maybe my mother knew something I didn't. She told me, the week before she died, that I'd find the right woman when I stopped searching, that she'd find me, He turned. You found me, Leah. I found a ring in a gutter. Outside the museum where I donated my family's collection. Where you worked for 4 years cataloging artifacts with the same care my great-grandmother showed. Where you were fired 3 days before finding the one thing I've searched for since losing my mother. His voice softened. You don't believe in fate? I believe in physics and poverty and bad luck. Leah stood. Mr. Harrington, I'm glad I could return your ring. But I'm not your great-grandmother reincarnated or your soulmate or whatever this is. Then why won't it come off? She tugged again. The ring stayed firmly in place. James moved closer. I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm asking you to have coffee with me. Talk. Let me understand who you are beyond this impossible coincidence. Why? Because in 8 years, you're the only woman that ring has recognized. Because you could have pawned it. It's worth $50,000. But you spent 4 days trying to find its owner. Because my mother's last wish was that I find the woman this ring chose. He paused. And because something about you feels familiar. Like I've been waiting for this conversation. Leah wanted to run. Wanted to take the ring off. Give it back. Return to her broke, unemployed, normal life. But the ring wouldn't budge. And James Harrington was looking at her like she was the answer to a question he'd carried. For years. One coffee, she heard herself say. Then you figure out how to get this thing off my finger. They went to a cafe 3 blocks away. His choice, anonymous and quiet. James ordered for them, paid, and sat across from her at a corner table. Tell me about yourself, he said. I'm nobody. Recently fired archivist, broke, living in a studio apartment I probably can't afford next month. That's it. Why archival work? Leah hesitated. My mother was a historian. She taught me that preserving the past matters. That objects carry stories worth protecting. Her throat tightened. She has early onset Alzheimer's now. Doesn't remember most of her career. I do the work she can't anymore. James was quiet for a long moment. My mother was a curator. She built the collection I donated. Near the end, she couldn't remember which artifacts she'd acquired, but she remembered why preservation mattered. We'd sit with pieces from the collection, and she'd touch them like they could tell her who she'd been. His voice roughened. I understand. Leah looked at him, really looked. Saw grief that matched her own. Saw someone who understood loss as a daily weight. I'm sorry about your mother. I'm sorry about yours. How old is she? 53. James flinched. That's young. Yeah. Leah stared at her coffee. The facility costs $4,200 monthly. I cover $2,800. My brother sends what he can. Hence the studio apartment and fired job panic. You were fired for something you didn't do. How do you know? Because I fund that museum's archival department. I reviewed your work when evaluating the donation. Your condition reports are meticulous. If you documented existing damage, it existed. He pulled out his phone. What's Patricia Wells's extension? What are you doing? Calling the director to reinstate you. Don't. Leah grabbed his wrist. Please. I don't want your charity. It's not charity. It's correcting an injustice. It's you using power and money to fix my problems because I found your ring. That's not fair. James set down his phone. You're right. I'm sorry. He looked at the ring still stuck on her finger. But I can offer you something else. A job. My company has an archival department managing acquisition histories for art investments. We need someone with museum quality assessment skills. Salary is $78,000 plus full benefits. It's yours if you want it. That's still charity. It's not. I've been trying to hire someone with her qualifications for 6 months. Ask. 3 months later, Leah sat in James's penthouse office, the ring still on her finger, reviewing acquisition paperwork for a Byzantine manuscript. The ring hadn't budged since that first day. They'd tried soap, oil, jeweler's tools. It stayed put, warm and permanent, like a promise neither of them fully understood yet. Thoughts on the provenance. James appeared behind her, reading over her shoulder. Questionable gaps between 1943 and 1956. Could be legitimate estate transfers. Could be wartime theft. I'd recommend additional research before purchase. Good. He set down coffee beside her. Light, 2 sugars, the way she liked it. 3 months, and he'd memorized her preferences. How's her mother? Same. Better facility now, though? She has a garden view. Leah smiled slightly. Your salary made that possible. Your talent earned that salary. James sat across from her. We should talk about something. Leah's stomach tightened. Okay. The ring won't come off. We've tried everything. which means either we cut it off, or," he paused, "or we consider what it might mean that it won't leave you. James, I'm not proposing. Not yet." He held up a hand. "But I am saying that these 3 months have been the best I've had since losing my mother. You're brilliant at this work. You're funny and stubborn, and you care about things that matter. And every morning, I look forward to seeing you." Leah's breath caught. "You're my boss. You report to Catherine, not me. And I'm saying this as James, not as your employer. As the man who's been falling for you since you walked into that conference room and proved my mother right." He leaned forward. "That ring chose you, Leah. Maybe I'm supposed to choose you too. This is insane. We barely know each other." "Then let's change that. Dinner. Tonight. Not as boss and employee. As two people who found each other through impossible circumstances." His gray eyes were vulnerable now, hopeful. "Let me take you somewhere nice. Let's talk about things beyond work. See if this is real or just a beautiful coincidence." Leah looked at the ring, then at James. At this impossible man who'd appeared in her life like an answer to prayers she'd been too tired to speak. Who'd given her security, purpose, and something that felt dangerously like hope. "One dinner," she said. "Somewhere normal. Not a 5-star place where I need a dress I can't afford." James smiled, genuine, warm, transforming his serious face. "I know a great taco truck in Brooklyn." That night, they sat on a park bench eating carnitas tacos and drinking horchata. James told her about building his company from a college startup, about his mother's final year, about the loneliness of wealth without purpose. Leah told him about her mother's brilliant career, about choosing passion over money, about the guilt of not being enough. "You're more than enough," James said quietly. "Your mother would be proud. Your mother would too." He looked at the ring on her finger, catching street light. "She'd love that you found it. That you're exactly who she hoped you'd be. A broke archivist? Someone who returns lost things because it's right. Who works harder than anyone I've met. Who fits this ring like you were made for it." He touched her hand carefully. "May I try something?" "What?" "This." He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull back, and kissed her. The ring flared warm against her skin. Leah kissed him back, tasting cinnamon and certainty, feeling 8 years of his searching and all her struggling collapse into this moment. Mouth on mouth, hands clasped, the city humming around them. When they broke apart, James pressed his forehead to hers. "I'm going to marry you someday, Leah Morris." "You're insane." "Probably. But the ring knows. And I'm starting to trust that." Leah laughed, surprising herself with joy. "One step at a time, billionaire. One step at a time." The months that followed were slow and careful. Dinners became weekends. Weekends became mornings waking up in his brownstone with coffee and crosswords. James met Leah's mother. She didn't remember him visit to visit, but she smiled at the ring on Leah's finger and said, "That's a good man you found." At 8 months, James took Leah to the museum where they'd met, to the gallery holding his family's collection, before the case displaying his great-grandmother's photograph. She was Leah Morris before she married. She worked as an archivist at this museum in 1924. "She met my great-grandfather when he donated his father's classical collection. They married 6 months later." James turned to Leah. "My mother used to say some stories repeat because they're supposed to, that the ring finds who it needs to find." Leah looked at the photograph, at her own face reflected in glass beside her namesake's image. "You think we're repeating their story? I think we're writing our own." "But yes." James knelt, and Leah's heart stopped. "I think some things are meant to be. And I think you're meant to be with me." He pulled out a second ring, simple platinum band, no stones. "The family ring chose you. Now I'm asking you to choose me. Marry me, Leah. Let me spend my life making you as happy as you've made me these 8 months." Leah looked at him, this impossible man who'd searched for 8 years and found her in a gutter, who'd given her security and purpose and love that felt like coming home. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes." He slipped the platinum band onto her left hand, and this one fit perfectly too, warm and certain and right. They married 3 months later in the museum gallery, surrounded by the artifacts Leah had once cataloged and the collection James's mother had built. Catherine was maid of honor. Leah's mother attended, lucid enough to cry happy tears and whisper, "You found your story." At the reception, James's grandmother, 93 and sharp, examined the sapphire ring still on Leah's right hand. "Stubborn thing," she said fondly. "Wouldn't come off your great-grandmother either." until she died. The ring knows its people. She patted Leah's hand. Welcome to the family, dear. You were worth the 8-year wait. 2 years later, Leah stood in the newly renovated archival wing she designed for James's company, her daughter sleeping in a carrier against her chest. Elena was 6 months old, dark-haired and perfect, named for James's mother. James appeared in the doorway, holding flowers. Thought you could use these. You thought right. Leah kissed him, Elena stirring between them. Did you see the acquisition report for the Byzantine collection? I did. You're brilliant. I'm thorough. Same thing. He touched the ring on her right hand. Still there, still warm, still certain. Do you ever regret finding it? Everything that came after. Leah looked at their daughter, at the work she loved, at the man who'd searched for her without knowing her name. Never. Best thing I ever found in a gutter. James laughed. Romantic. Accurate. She kissed him again, longer this time. I love you, James Harrington. I love you, Leah Harrington. Faithful to the end. Fidelis ad finum, she agreed, and the ring warmed against her skin like a benediction. Outside, the city moved through evening. Millions of people, millions of stories. But this one was theirs, a lost ring, a found love, and the certainty that some things, against all logic and reason, were simply meant to be. The ring knew. It had always known. And finally, after 8 years and one impossible coincidence, everyone else knew too.